I'm Debbie.
And I'm Allison.
And we're the Poltergals. Spooky.
Hi, I'm Allison.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're the Poltergals.
Oh, welcome back to another episode of the Poltergals.
Yay.
And what are we talking about this week?
So this week, it's the Castle of Good Hope.
Ooh, I hope it's good.
Aren't you funny?
Wow.
So this is in Cape Town, South Africa.
Ooh, where
Yeah.
Elon Musk is from. He's from South Africa. That's why he has a weird accent. And he also looks like a lizard person.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, he's from South Africa. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. But yeah. All right, Elon Musk, I hope you're listening out there.
We all know he's not. No.
That's okay. Listen, a girl can dream.
Yeah,
I can be your next Grimes. Just know that.
Yeah, keep dreaming.
All right.
So this was built between 1666 and 1679.
That's old.
It is ancient, quite literally.
Wow.
So the castle is known as the oldest surviving building in South Africa and has been the center of civilian, political, and military life at the Cape since approximately 1879.
Wow. 1679.
16, yeah.
That's what I said. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
definitely.
Yep. Numbers are
Numbers are hard.
language and numbers and time are nothing but man-made objects.
These are all made-up constructs to keep man down.
Yep. The man-made did this to trap ourselves, but you know what? Whatever. So the castle is arguably represents one of the best preserved 17th century architecture.
Ooh, fancy.
The castle was, however, not the first fort to be built at the Cape. A
Quadrangular.
quadrangular fort.
Quadrangular.
And if you're as dumb as me, it is a four-pointed object.
Wow. There you go. The more you know.
Yeah. In case those are as dumb as me. So,
Yeah. And that's why we're here to learn together.
exactly.
Every episode, you never know what you're going to learn.
Nope.
One day you'll be learning about ghosts. Next day you'll learn about quadrangulars.
Yep. So it was a four-pointed fort and was built at the arrival of Juan van Riebeeck in 1652, where the Grand Parade and the main post office are situated today.
Wow.
Yep.
You got through that sentence very well.
Listen, my English is better than my Spanish, but it's still the struggle bus.
But it's still a struggle.
It's the short bus. Okay?
Oh,
I ride the
get
short
it.
bus.
I
Okay,
get
I'm
you.
aware.
Okay, cool.
So the fort was completed towards the end of 1653 and its inner structure in 1656. However, constant problems were experienced and the walls of the fort, which were constructed mainly of clay, collapsed and required constant repairs. Repairs, if I can speak correctly. But Riebeeck left the Cape in 1662 and was succeeded by
Zacharias.
Zacharias.
I love fancy names like that. Like, why don't people name their kids that anymore? Zacharias.
I mean, it's an old name, but then again, have you looked at your name?
My name is Deborah.
Yeah, that's a pretty old name.
I know, it's in the Bible. Deborah was a judge. I'm judging you right now.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I'm judging you just as much
That's fine.
based off of my facial expressions.
Well, unless you guys are watching on YouTube, you wouldn't be able to see her facial expressions. Let me describe them for you. Allison has a round face with a partially closed eyes, snarled lips, and is looking at me in pure disgust. The end.
Correct.
Was that a good description?
Yes.
I would say my words are paintings of a million. I don't know what I'm saying. There we go. Back to the episode.
So in 1664, there were renewed rumors of war between Britain and the Netherlands. Fearing a British attack on the Cape, the Lord 17 instructed
Wagner guy.
Yeah, to build a 5-pointed stone castle similar to other such that's a big word.
Fortifications.
Yeah, fortification.
They were like, we already have a 4-sided fort. Not good enough. Need a 5-sided fort.
Yep.
Give me one more point or death.
Oh my. No.
But yeah.
In the Europe and in the East, the castle was planned around a central point, a water well under the boog.
A bog?
A bog?
Is it a bog or a boog?
I don't know.
It has 2 O's. Oh, because it's a ghost? It's a boog.
It's a boog. With 5 bellworks known as bastions. Bastions?
Bastions.
Sure.
Bastionathon.
The foundations were dug in 1665, and the cornerstones of the first bastion, later known as Leerdam Bastion, sure, were laid on the 2nd of January, 1666.
That's a lot of 6s. You know what we say about repeating numbers.
I don't like it.
Dun, dun.
Yikes. And after which the building started in earnest. 300 sailors Commander,
that's a lot of M's, a lot of R's, and a lot of D's and E's.
I don't like it.
Commandered.
Commandered.
Commandeered? Is that commandeered?
I think it may be commandeered
from passing ships. That means stolen. Thank you, Johnny Depp, again for another shout out for helping me know what the word commandeered means.
I know what movie it's from, but I also am trying to think of
Pirates of the movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
He said, "I did not steal it. I commandeered it," or something like that.
I'm trying to process which one it is from.
I just love all of them. You know, I like, that was my comfort movie when I was a kid. I would I had the VHS of Pirates of the Caribbean Black Pearl, and I would watch it over and over over. As soon as I put it in, I Pavloved myself. So I would go to sleep as soon as I would start playing it. I would get in right to the scene where Elizabeth Swann falls off the top of this, and then I'm out.
Oh my. So yeah, commandeered the ships, soldiers, and local cloaca.
Did you say cloacas?
I don't know, but it's...
Do you know what a cloaca is?
Nope.
Cloaca is like a frog, where it's they have one hole that does it all.
Yuck.
They poop out the same hole, they have babies out in the same hole.
That's disgusting.
That's what a cloaca is.
Yep,
I don't know what word you're trying to say right now.
Whatever that word is, women and slaves were used as workforce, breaking stone and collecting shells, which were burned into in lime ovens.
That's sad.
Yuck.
Cool.
In 1667, peace returned to Europe, which caused the building on the castle to be delayed, and the first bastion, Leerdam, was completed on the 5th of November in 1670. And then the others, which are a bunch of big names that I really don't want to pronounce or attempt to.
I can try. Bourbon, Katzelelebogen, Nasu, and Orange.
Orange followed.
Orange. That is it.
Orange followed.
I don't know anything about South African.
Nor do I. That's why I'm I don't want to attempt it.
Well, I tried. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed.
Wow. In 1672, the outbreak of war in Europe caused the building of the castle to be resumed. And in 1679, the castle was completed, and it was called a castle because, as in the case of other castles in Europe, in addition of being a defensive structure, it comprised a small community or town on its own. Inside the castle walls, there were, among others, such as a church, bakery, workshops, living quarters, offices, cells, and numerous other facilities.
Wow.
The castle is entered through the main gate from the Grand Parade and City Hall side. This entrance was built in 1682 and 1684 to replace the original entrance, which was suited between the Buren and the whatever the big word bastions. There are also two smaller entrances to the castle.
Cool.
The lookout tower on the roof is known as the Captain's Tower. The latter used to be the tallest building in Cape Town for many years to come, and the inner courtyard of the castle is divided by a wall.
Oof.
The wall is approximately 116 meters in length and 12 meters high, which is 3.5 meters and then 3.5 meters at the bottom and 2 meters wide at the top.
Ooh, that's big.
Yeah. And then the first porch was built in 1695, which is known as the
Puji.
Puji. Yeah, I don't know. There's too much.
Puij. Puj. I don't know. We tried.
I'm so sorry, South Africa.
I know. If anybody from South Africa is listening to this, especially Elon Musk, I apologize.
Please don't come after us. We're trying our best.
We are doing great. I mean, we literally have SpaceX like right here. So there is a chance that Elon Musk has been in Waco recently. There's always a chance.
Don't come after us.
We're sorry.
We love you.
In advance, we're sorry.
But yeah, and it was built between 1786 and 1790.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, now we made it through all of the history. It's time for a
Commercial break.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Spooky. All right. This episode is brought to you by no food because Debbie is hungry and she has no food.
So sad. So very, very sad.
I'm just hungry and sad. All right.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Spooky. Well, now that we're back, it's time to get into the hauntings. Dun, dun, dun. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, as we mentioned, this castle is very, very old. And what happens with very, very old things? They have ghosts. Well, let me tell you about some of those ghosts that are happening in this castle.
Some of it's history.
Some of it's going to be
like a little bit more stories.
A little more spooky and a little more, all that jazz. So the castle had its origins in something that was often commonplace along the southernmost tip of Africa, violent storms that then were followed by shipwreck.
Yep.
So on March 25th of 1647, a Dutch Indiaman, again, we don't know how to pronounce any of these names, De Nieuwe Haarlem, was on his way to Holland from the East Indies. And then he actually ran aground in the vicinity of what is now present-day Millerton. Millerton.
Yep.
That's the place.
Yep. Totally.
And although there were no casualties, its sinking was destined to change the course of history. So a junior merchant named, again, don't know these names, Lindert Jansen. Yep, Lindert Jansen was instructed to stay behind and about 60 crew to look after the cargo while fellow crew members boarded other ships in the fleet and continued their journey to Holland. Over the course of time, it was the administrative center at the Cape, a garrison, also known as a prisons. And then the dungeons actually served as temporary holding cells for troublesome chiefs of indigenous groups from the Cape and much further afield. Some of its purposes, though, were more sinister. Dun dun dun. For example, it, or rather a section of it, served as a torture chamber. You know what that means? That's how you get ghosts.
Ghosties.
But yeah, so part of the castle served as a torture chamber. A Die Dongergat? What is that note, Allison?
That's what it's called.
Okay, it's
A
called
Die
a torture
Donger-
chamber is called a Die Dongergat.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's what it is, man.
There we go.
I needed to make a note of it.
Oh, okay. Well, the note just says Die Dongergat. Gat. But yeah, and so that was the place where people were, unfortunately, executed. It also housed gallows, which is, where people would be hung and killed.
Yikes. No thanks.
No thanks, I'm good.
No thanks.
But yeah, one of the more fascinating stories associated with the castle actually involved the ghost of an 18th century governor. His name was Peter van Noot. What a funny name. Peter van Noot. Who's actually was cursed on the gallows by one of the 7 men he had condemned to death for desertion.
Yikes.
But
That's
yeah,
too much.
I know. But yeah, so the curse actually did not take long to kick in. Van Noot then died on the same day he was cursed. Legend has it he actually died with a look of surprise on his face because it happened so fast. He literally condemned these men to the gallows. We're like, hey, these 7 dudes, they did some bad stuff. They gotta die. And then one of them was like, I'm gonna curse you, bro. And then he just died.
Oh,
like
no.
the same day. Immediately. Yeah.
Debbie, if that happens to me, just run away.
Gonna run away fast.
Run away.
Yeah, just don't get cursed, That's like that's what I say. Just don't get cursed. The end. Why are you crying?
Hey, you want to get cursed?
We'll try not to
Are you
get
gonna curse me?
No, I promise. I will not curse you. Not yet. Until you
Not
cross
yet.
me. Till you cross me. Just you wait. Just you wait. I'm always watching you. Always watching you. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc.
Well, one of the earliest hangmen was actually married to a slave who was owned by one of the Cape's best known 18th century socialites known as Lady Anne Bernard.
Oh.
So Bernard was most impressed at the way the hangman performed his duties, but she felt nothing but contempt for his wife. So, that's pretty terrifying.
Yep.
She was like, hey man, you do a good job, but like your wife kind of sucks.
Dang.
So that's interesting.
It's like me going to Cameron. It's like, yo, you do your job well.
You do your
but
job.
your wife,
For your wife,
Debbie, she sucks.
she sucks. But yeah. And then, as part of the castle's 350th anniversary celebrations, the Department of Defense actually commissioned statues of the 4 African leaders who fought to maintain the independence of their people during various eras of dispossessions. So that's pretty cool. And then on a cold, wet day in May of 1659, Doman launched the first War of Independence by indigenous people in South Africa against colonial invaders.
Have fun pronouncing that name, dude.
I know. Zulu King Cetshwayo. That sounds close enough, right?
Guessing that we don't even know how it's supposed.
Don't know.
Sure, yeah,
There we go.
totally. I don't know how to pronounce it.
But yeah, so this guy was also said to have spent time as a prisoner at the castle. And so maybe his spirit still lives there to this day. This was actually after he'd been captured in the Gnome Forest. You heard me right. Gnome Forest.
Gnome? Is
Yep.
that how that's spelled?
Yeah, that's how you didn't know how gnome was spelled? The word gnome? Like, like the little men in like little hats, little pointy hats.
I don't know. That's how they were.
Like Nomeo and Juliet.
I knew what they were, but I didn't know that that's how it was. I was just like a gnogium. A gnomu. Yep.
I mean, I don't think gnome is English, but I feel like it's known well enough that you should know how gnome is said.
I know how gnome is said, but how it's spelled. What was a different story?
Oh, okay.
See, education over here.
Education. But yeah, and apparently this is near Nkandala. Nkandala.
What if it's Nadala?
Nakal.
Because if gnome is spelled like that, what if it's in Nadala?
Oh my gosh, you're right. The N is silent. Well, so it'd be Nakdala. Okay, yeah. If gnome can be spelled with the Ngome,
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly.
Then the next word is Nkandla, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. But yeah, and then actually when he was captured, his forces had suffered horrific losses against the British at, again, that word, Kambula and Jinjadavula. I'm so sorry. How are we supposed to accurately report on something we don't even know how to pronounce?
Like how I accurately mispronounce all Spanish words.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
The only words I know how to say correctly are
Burrito.
burrito, tortillas,
I thought you were going to say
tacos.
tortillas as a joke. I was going to be like, Allison, no. Enchilada.
An enchilada is not actually what you think it is.
Oh my gosh. I've been lied to my whole life.
Like, it's the same concept.
I looked at Mike as like, this is a haunted podcast, right? Why are you always talking about food on here?
Okay, we're two hungry girls. We've discussed this. We're hungry.
We're hungry poltergals. We're poltering our next pal. We gotta gobble some ghouls. We brought it back.
You gotta gobble ghouls for us not to be hungry. Okay, let's finish this history. Let's finish the hauntings up for us to eat.
And then, despite the angry protests from whites in the colony of Natal, he was then granted permissions to travel to England to plead his case to British politicians. What are we talking about?
The prisoner at the castle who that
the guy that was captured in Gnome Forest was then released so he could plead his case to the British politician. There you go. Workers and visitors now report hearing voices and footsteps in the windowless dungeon and in the building's narrow corridors. The bell in the bell tower actually sometimes rings on its own accord, even though nobody is ringing it. That should be impossible because it was actually bricked up centuries ago. So there's literally no way. And then legend says a soldier actually once hung himself by the bell rope. And that's why perhaps his ghost still rings the bell to this day.
Aw, the polter pal's ringing it.
Ring, ring, ring. Polter pal. Nope, I'm not. That's sad. But anyway. And then one of the other stories goes that a vicious black dog is also said to haunt the castle grounds. It lunges at people before suddenly then disappearing. People also claim to have seen a tall, luminous man leaping off the castle walls. He disappears right before he hits the ground. And then a man and a woman are frequently heard arguing near the guard's room. And then when people go to check it out, only to find a shapeless figure standing by it. So that's a little terrifying.
Nope.
And then here in that same area, an electric bell is also heard, while nobody is around to ring it. So that's a little sus. Even today, soldiers who guard the castle at night rather avoid passing through the castle's archways, and they often say they fear the restless souls that roam these areas. Lady Anne Barnard also haunts the castle up until this day. She lived here in the late 18th century as the first lady. She was the one that was responsible to entertain important guests that visit the castle and do all the duties of the lady. So she seems to keep on doing this even after years since she's been gone.
Aww.
Yeah.
How nice.
I know. You know what I always say about nice, friendly ghosts that are just doing their job? Or I love ghosts.
She's the ghost
lady.
mommy.
Ghost mommy. Oh my god.
She's the ghost mommy here.
Yes, she is ghost mommy. But yeah, Lady Anne Barnard. She is ghost mommy. Even though she passed away over 2 centuries ago, she still appears when the castle is visited by the most important people.
Aww. How nice.
So sweet. Another ghost that keeps popping up is the governor, Peter Gisbert Van Noot. Peter Van Noot, the guy we talked about earlier. So he was actually a very strict and militant man. Van Noot, as we mentioned, sentenced those 7 men to death on April 23rd of 1728. And when he refused to grant a prisoner's last wish right before his hanging, the prisoner cursed him. And as we know, he died right on the spot.
Yep.
And so it's said that his ghost still wanders the area. And today, workers and visitors experience his bitter presence, and they hear him cursing and swearing inside the castle walls.
Well, that's what you get.
And then today, the castle houses the Castle Military Museum and ceremonial facilities for the traditional Cape regiments. And the most exciting thing is that restoration has actually uncovered new secret areas that before were not mentioned. There might actually be more rooms that haven't been discovered yet. So what secrets does this castle hold?
Ooh.
So many secrets. It holds ghosts and secrets.
Ghost. Secret ghosts.
But yeah, so that is all of the hauntings for the Castle of Good Hope.
Yay!
And I would say it's good and haunted.
We did it. We did it.
Hooray. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of The Poltergals.
Please be sure to tune in on all your streaming platforms.
All of them. Anywhere you get your podcasts.
Podcasts. Go check out the Patreon, the Facebook.
Patreon.com/polterpals.
Yes. Where you get a special sticker.
Yeah, you can get a sticker. We got some cool stuff on there. You get extra bonus content. We got like 44 posts. You got to get in there. You got to find out what's going on. You also get unedited episodes of our podcast, so you can listen to us be stupid for even longer.
Because who doesn't want that?
Yay!
Go us!
All right. Well, tune in next week for another episode of The Poltergals. You've been listening to The Poltergals,
a Rogue Media Network podcast.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.